People are like defending, a lot of this bad behavior and blaming the teachers. It's ridiculous, bro. It's like, my child doesn't learn this way. That's why he's walking around your classroom shitting on the desks and pulling the fire alarm. It's like, really? That is a failure that needs to be addressed in a way where you punish kids and you hold them accountable. Teachers are losing it. Gen Alpha students are driving them insane. Bro, this would be the worst time to be a teacher in history.
If you're not a teacher, you will never understand the rage I'm about to say. And maybe you'll understand why teachers are quitting.
Okay. These kids cannot be quiet. Like literally, physically cannot be quiet.
Let me show you, because no, y'all don't believe us when we be crashing out. You think that we're just making things up because we're just horrible daycare providers for y'all. Typed out. They're typed and given. You think it's our fault somehow, some way. It's still our fault.
Wow.
How is it still our fault?
I do think a lot of parents are sending their Cocomelon children to teachers and expecting the teachers to do God's work, and that's unfortunately not something they're capable of. I also feel like teachers are afraid of actually exercising authority over the students because they'll get in trouble by like the parents. So they're more comfortable doing a shitty job and producing no results than, being a hard ass and then getting everybody angry.
The longest I will have them sitting in one spot is maybe 7 minutes.
The kids are not okay.
Yeah.
And it's not the teacher's fault.
I think that's obvious.
Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Aaron Boyd. So every school year we hear stories from teachers complaining about student behaviors, and this year is no different. Turns out, Gen Alpha is still bringing a whole new level of chaos to the classroom, one that is driving teachers insane and just pushing them right to the edge. For instance, teachers keep complaining that these kids never shut up, even when the teachers are standing right there.
Unfortunately, the whole thing where you're like, I'll wait. What's that gonna do? What is that gonna do? They're like, yeah, you'll wait. You'll wait for them to shut up. They just won't shut up. They're not afraid of you. You send them to the principal's office and the principal just sends them back to you. Jesus, bro. Is this real? I mean, bro, did that kid just shoot somebody? There's a car crash in your classroom.
We gotta talk about these kids, y'all, because teachers...
I fucking hate kids, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like children anymore. I feel like being a teacher is gonna be one of the hardest things you do nowadays because you don't have kids. You have fucking demons in your classroom. Like, oh man, you know how, there's this debate about, should teachers have guns in order to stop school shootings, which is like, everyone's gonna say, no, that's retarded because, it's like, why should the teachers have to undergo firearm training? They're meant to be teachers. But it's like, honestly, I think we should give them guns to shoot these kids. Honestly, it's like, you want to solve the kids being rowdy? I think I have a solution. I'm gonna be honest. Oh man, stun guns? Yeah, man, I don't know, man. I mean, it's just something where oh man.
All over of all grade levels are having the same issue, and it just has to stop. It just has to. These kids cannot stay quiet and listen to save their lives. And here's the thing. I teach first grade.
Yeah, martial law.
The longest I will have them sitting in one spot is maybe 7 minutes. Okay? I'm not talking about standing up in front of them and lecturing. Here's what I'm talking about. Yesterday, I was mid-sentence teaching math, and 3 of my kids just turned around on the carpet, put all their feet in the middle, and started playing bubblegum in a dish, loudly, mind you, in the middle of my lesson, mid-sentence. Had no qualms about it.
So I think one of the things that causes kids to respect teachers is because they respect their parents, and because the teachers, one of their biggest leverages of authority is saying, if you misbehave, I'll call your parents. I'm gonna give you a phone call home. And I don't think kids are afraid of that anymore because it doesn't seem like at home the parents are punishing the kids at all. Like this whole gentle parenting bullshit where if kids are misbehaving, even in some like crazy ways, you got kids like fighting each other, biting each other. It's like, oh, well, hold on. Why did he bite him though? It's not saying, no, you can't fucking bite the kid. It's getting to the root of the problem, trying to analyze the child's behavior, getting to the root cause, you know? And that works for some things because there are some things that it is actually worth getting to the root cause of. You know, you might have like certain developmental issues that it's worth examining, but at the end of the day, it's like we don't have time to ask why the kids are biting each other. We don't have time to reason with the kids and say, hey, instead of biting him, would you? It's like, no, shut the fuck up. Punish the kid if he's biting somebody. Actually, it's just that simple. It just is.
Did not realize that anything was wrong. That's an issue.
I'm a high school teacher. It is 4 weeks into the school year with students, and I am at my limit already. I am at my limit with being talked to and demanded at so disrespectfully, interrupted constantly, repeating myself countless times. This year feels worse. This year feels worse than the last 5 years I've taught. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but I feel like I've seen so many teachers make videos where we are all ringing the alarm saying, this is bad.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, it's not the teacher's job to educate kids on how to not be pieces of shit. It's their job to educate them on math, science, reading, history. Like, you know what I'm saying? That, again, this is a failure on the parent side. So obviously, spanking became abuse, so no one does it anymore. Well, that's true, but I also don't think it even has to go that far. Like, I think even if we go as simple as the kid gets punished at all, the kid gets grounded. When's the last time you heard someone get grounded? Does that even happen anymore? I think the last time I heard the word grounded being used as like a form of punishment was like years ago, or whenever I watched a movie from the 2000s, right? So people don't do that. And it's like, think about it like this. If you're an iPad mom, okay, if you're a mom who uses the iPad to sedate your kid and make looking after your kid no longer your responsibility, why would you ever remove the thing that gives you less of a headache? So even if your kid's misbehaving in school, you know, he's like pulling people's hair, he's smacking the fuck out of them, maybe he's mooning people, showing his ass. It's like, well, okay, yeah, you know, the teacher calls you and says, your kid's been a disruption. What do you do about it? Are you gonna get rid of the iPad? The iPad's the only thing keeping your kid distracted at home while you go do whatever the fuck you want, and you still get to live your life. So they're not gonna do it.
Here is not...
Hot take, spanking isn't abuse? I mean, it depends, right? I mean, I think it's, you know, I think obviously there are some things that no question is abuse, right? Like if your kid's bruised up and you're giving him a black eye, you're giving him the McGregor 1-2, that's abuse. No question about it. You can't be doing that. But it's like, you know, I don't think you exercising a small amount of force on your child to stop them from doing things is crazy at all, you know?
It's not good. We are struggling, and not a lot of us are going to last if this continues, because I think there's a reckoning of teachers realizing like, I actually don't deserve to be treated like and then every day wipe that slate clean and start on over as if it didn't happen. I teach high schoolers. I see it from videos of elementary school teachers and middle school teachers. I don't know when, as a society, we're going to wake up and say, our system is failing. Our students don't have basic respect or human decency.
What bothers me the most is when people hear this stuff and they just want to defend the kids and say, well, they just learn differently. They have a different education style or preference. They require a different approach. That's not fucking true. That isn't true. There is an approach that has worked forever, and it's not like that this new generation is all of a sudden incapable of learning in the way that where a teacher stands up in front of the class and does a lecture. Like they just can't handle it. No, that's not what this is. And it really bugs me where people are like defending, you know, a lot of this bad behavior and blaming the teacher. It's ridiculous, bro. It's like, my child doesn't learn this way. That's why he's walking around your classroom shitting on the desks and pulling the fire alarm. It's like, really? Are you fucking... test scores are lower than ever. And part of this has to do with COVID. COVID made everyone a little retarded, which I think, you know, it's understandable. But when COVID finished and people were going back to classrooms, the rowdiness and the nonsense from children, you know, this lack of compliance and ability to, like, sit down and focus and learn, that is a failure that needs to be addressed in a way where you punish kids and you hold them accountable. Teachers get paid nothing, dude. And you're gonna, like, police them. And, like, why would... If I was a teacher, I would just quit. I legitimately would just quit. There's nothing in it anymore.
Teachers are done.
See, there's always been a debate about gentle parenting and what kind of kids it creates.
Yeah.
This right here might be one of the results. These kids don't respect anyone. And honestly, why would they? They've never been taught accountability from their parents, and their schools aren't doing much about it either.
The teachers are not lying. The teachers are.
I think as well, a lot of parents now who are having young children have this trauma from their parents that they're trying to overcorrect for with their kids. So if their dad or their mom was like even slightly rude to them, or, you know, treated them in a way where you would argue that it's like abusive or whatever, you're going to do a job at like overcorrecting to where your child is your equal. Your child is your friend. And you can be friendly toward your child, but maintaining a power dynamic is like kind of fucking essential, you know? Because if your child grows up thinking that they control the world and rule the world, that's how you raise a criminal. Because if you can't tell your child what to do, and your teachers can't tell your child what to do, why would the police be able to tell your child what to do? They would run from the cops. They wouldn't obey orders. They would commit crime. Like, they believe that they can do whatever they want. That's how you raise a child who is like determined to go to jail. Low-key, I'm grateful my mom beat my ass and disciplined me, but I don't want to make my kids scared about accidents. Unintentional fuck-ups aren't something they should be scared of. Well, yeah, but, you know, even if your child accidentally did something bad, you should punish them for it. Like, it depends what it is, I would say, right? I mean, you know, spilled milk is one thing, but making sure they know right from wrong is, I think, it's not really up for debate as to whether they should know right from wrong.
Are not exaggerating. The teachers are not being babies. The teachers are not lying. These kids are awful. I'm going to read you something that my daughter wrote to her teacher. And to give you some context, she is the baby in the classroom. Her birthday did not meet the cutoff. Like, she shouldn't even be in this grade. She should be a grade back. Her and the other behaved kids in her class have suffered for 4 years now at the hands of the same 6 or 7 kids, causing issues every single day. So let me read you what my kid wrote. Once upon a time, there was a teacher named Miss Blank. She was the best teacher. She was so kind and sweet, but her kids were almost always so bad. I feel so bad for her because she is kind, and normally all of the kids are so bad all the time. That is why I wrote this book for her. So if she needs something, I am here for her when she needs it.
To them, school is basically just another daycare. They don't see any real consequences for their actions, so they do whatever they want. Not only that they can't stay quiet, but they've also developed a completely new language. Like, half of the time you can't even tell what they actually want to mean with what they are saying. It's always like 6, 7, skibbity, sigma, stuff like that, which make no sense if you are not one of them.
Hi, I'm a high school English teacher, and these are the things that my students are currently saying. 6, 7 every day, multiple times a day, multiple times a class period.
That's like not that big a deal, though. I'm going to go on a whim here and say that kids using slang and like spamming brain rot terms is not a big issue. Like, I don't know if that has any connection to how like teachable they are.
It is still going strong. 6, 7. Another thing they do is when I'm saying something, like, let's say I'm teaching them.
For instance, when I was in middle school, my band class, because I played the trumpet in middle school, was obsessed with trying to get our band teacher to hit the dab. And like, it didn't make us a worse band, you know? Eventually he did it and we were all so happy.
About verbs. And every time I say something, I'm like, all right, you need to do blah, blah, blah. They're like, Like, what is that? Like, that's new. And I literally told them to stop doing that today. What else? Oh God, this is the one that I hate so much, is when like one of their friends does something for them, like, hey, pal, can you get me my Chromebook? And then he does it and gets him his Chromebook.
Says,
and
good
then
boy.
He's like, good boy.
I knew it.
Please stop.
I mean,
but these brain rot phrases are driving me insane. Skibbity Riz, skibbity toilet, whatever they be talking about, I don't know. It's annoying. And they literally do it all day long. If I hear 6, 7 one more time, I'm going to scream.
I'm going to be honest, I think the best way to deter kids from spamming brain rot terms is to embrace it, because nothing kills a brain rot term faster than somebody like a parent or a teacher doing it. Instead of saying it's not allowed, be like 6, 7, and the kids will stop immediately because they'll realize how cringe it is, right? They'll say, oh shit, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can kill it yourself by embracing it. It'll die within a week. And obviously that's a bit risky because maybe they think it's hilarious and they'll keep doing it. But I honestly think that when a teacher or a parent does something like, you know, kind of viral, it goes dead. It's like when Mr. Beast chimes in on a trend or something like that and it kind of kills it, right? Because Mr. Beast is like the biggest YouTuber ever, and so whenever he like makes it known that something is so big it's reached him, it sort of takes out kind of the fun of doing the thing, because everyone's doing it now.
I really want to cuss.
Yeah.
Can I cuss? I don't know what's with the touching. Like, they cannot stop touching each other, hugging and hitting and like just constantly putting their hands on each other. And they be digging in their nose. I can't take it. And this is 4th grade. They're doing this. They cannot stand the idea of silence. They're humming, they are drumming, they are tapping, they are making noises aloud. They cannot stand silence. That wasn't me. No, I wasn't. No, I didn't. And I'm looking right at you. Ma'am, sir, I saw you. I watched you before I told you.
I mean, this is just overstimulation. Like, I don't think anyone is able to be understimulated anymore. Like, I could go on my whole rant about like fidgeting and ADHD and how I think kids are being literally from infancy made to be overstimulated all the time, but I don't think I have to. I think everybody kind of knows this to be true. Like, if ever you're bored and you're on your iPad, you just swipe. If ever you're bored and you're in a classroom, you just spaz out. You know, you just twitch. You try to cause some chaos. You know, you're tapping your friend, trying to start something.
Stop. The gaslighting is ridiculous. Why do you have out scissors and glue and we're doing a math lesson that has nothing to do with you cutting or gluing anything down? You would really think that these kids are driven by motor. Like, the lack of self-control.
Kids need to learn to be bored again. I don't think that they need to learn to be bored exactly. I think they need to like control not constantly being stimulated, which I think is a bit different, right? Like, I think they just have to have a shift of what they find boring, because being in a classroom is always kind of boring in the sense that you would rather be playing video games, but there are things you can do in the classroom to make it more engaging. I just think those things no longer work. Like watching a movie, you know, that's still sitting still and keeping your focus on one long form piece of media, right? Or playing a Kahoot even. That's engaging, at least from when I was in middle school, but it feels like now a Kahoot is still not enough to fully engage kids. I don't know about that. I'm kind of going on a whim, but it seems like, you know, these teachers have kind of tried everything and the kids are still like uncontrollable.
Is at an all-time high. There is no way that my entire class has ADHD, and if that's the case, somebody need to get together and do some real serious studying, because something ain't right. But I love my job. I love teaching. I love working with kids. I enjoy what I do. I really and truly do. But like I said, these kids, they don't make it easy. They making us work for that little check. And I do mean little.
I guess we are all witnessing what it is like to grow up fully online in the era of AI slope and endless short videos. Well. These kids expect you to talk to them with sound effects behind your voice or with a tech logo somewhere in their field of view. That's the only way you can get them to focus on anything you are saying, because that's what they got used to online. Yeah. Their attention span is cooked.
I'm sorry, but somebody's got to say this. These kids cannot be quiet. Like, literally, physically cannot be quiet. And it's not just talking that's the problem. The just noise in general. It is constant no matter what I'm doing. I could be doing direct instruction. They could be working with partners by themselves, whatever. It is constant. Whether it's this or the tapping.
She's right. We need to address the overstimulation crisis. These kids are not going to mentally develop correctly from a legitimate neurological standpoint. Yeah, 100%.
Or just the random noises that they make all the time. 6, 7, 6, 7. Like.
Well, it's because attention is a currency, right? And now it's been basically the incentive of the largest social media companies to have your users' attention for the longest possible time, right? There's a monetary incentive to keep people on the apps for as long as possible. And the way that's been accomplished is by spamming the most nonsense things possible and making as much content accessible in the shortest period of time possible. Excuse me. And so if ever you get bored, you don't leave the app, you just swipe to the next video. So basically, they've literally solved the problem of being bored on the apps by making it so that you can kind of just, you know, experience something new always. If ever you're bored, you don't just leave and you're like, okay, it's kind of boring, I'll get off Instagram. It's like, oh, there's just more, right? And so because the monetary incentive to overstimulate people is so high, people have mastered it, meaning you're literally addicted without even realizing it, because there's been so much money given to the people made to addict you. And these teachers are not neuroscientists. They're not in the business of keeping your attention at all times, right? They're just here to teach you. And I think it's an impossible competition. This one woman versus Meta versus Facebook versus Instagram versus TikTok versus these billion-dollar industries, these algorithms that have been perfected to keep their users' attention. Do you think she's going to win that battle? You think she's going to beat TikTok? You think she's going to beat Instagram? She isn't. Beat AI slop content farms? She can't. It's literally impossible. possible. And so the only way to win this is some sort of, consensus among the parents that your kids can't watch this, that there is screen time limits. Or maybe the government should step in and say, this is a legitimate crisis for our, the next generation. And so we're going to make it that TikTok isn't accessible to people under the age of 13 years old or 15 years old. I don't think it's that bad if that's the case. I think I would support that.
Why can you not be quiet? Like, the overstimulation is just to a max. I can't even deal. Not only that, they've got the stupid fidget toys that are making noise. It is constant. What are we doing to these kids that they just can't sit there and just be quiet for even 10 minutes at a time? I truly don't understand. Please help. Send help.
This generation of kids is so annoying. I'm sorry, I have to say that. These kids do the most annoying things. Because why are you tapping on your desk in the middle of me teaching? Why are you digging through your backpack? And then I ask you, what do you need? And you say, nothing. So why are you in there? When somebody is whispering and they're trying to get your attention, you have to say, stop it! Sir, I had no idea that he was distracting you or trying to get your attention. I just heard you out loud. Why, when you tell these kids to stop talking, they think that means to talk softer and whisper. I want you to shut up, please. Balling the paper up and tearing it into tiny pieces just to go and throw it in the trash. Teachers are trying here.
This is something that I think has happened for a while. I don't know about I think this one seems like, okay, for back when I was in middle school, there was a trend, not based on one on social media, but it was just in my school, where you would go to the bathroom, get a bunch of paper towels, put them all in the sink, let the sink run for as long as possible. The towels would absorb all the water. You take all the wet paper towels, crunch them up into a ball, and then throw the ball at the ceiling and it would stick. So we weren't really any better with this sort of stuff. But this is one of those things where you just either ignore it or you punish it, right? Obviously it's frustrating, but if you're talking about tapping on the desk, I'm going to be honest, that's a nothing burger. What they're tapping on the desk, I'm tapping on my desk right now. It's not even that bad. So I don't know.
We are trying. We're trying to have patience. We are trying to teach your children the youth of America. But baby, the youth is not making it easy.
Sure.
They can't read. They can't do any simple math, and teachers don't even know what to do about it anymore. And the administration isn't helping either. The whole education system is a mess right now.
Teachers are trying to tell you that you and your kids are not okay. We're not okay. We're not okay. This is a real student's paper.
Let's see this.
I covered up the name because I don't want you, that is what they completed.
What am I looking at here?
In 20 minutes.
Oh.
This is what they completed. I told them the answer to number 9. 1/4 of the students got it incorrect.
Well, that's just an education thing. This isn't about behavior. This is like, there's a difference between having a bunch of spastic children and then having a bunch of retarded children. And I know people are going to be upset that I use that word. I use it as a descriptor. And if you can't handle that, then that's your problem. Kids who are struggling with literacy, who are struggling with math comprehension, that is something that I think is probably related to the fidgeting and the overstimulation, but not directly the same thing. And I don't know how to solve this one. This one's a tough one for me. I think the attention one is pretty obvious, right? You raise your kids without the iPads. Maybe this fixes the intelligence thing as well. This one is I don't know how to solve the literacy crisis or the math comprehension crisis at all. And I'll be honest, I'm not even super good at math at all, right? My reading comprehension is probably decent. I read a lot, but my math sucks, okay? I honestly, I probably would fail at some basic algebra, to be honest, which is embarrassing to admit, but, the thing with algebra is that I'm never seeing it in my real life. It's just funny because I would always ask growing up, when am I going to use this? The answer was literally never. I never used algebra, and it obviously depends on where you work. I'm a fucking live streamer. I make YouTube videos, so it doesn't really show itself in my life, but yeah, I don't know. I use math all the time. Well, that's good for you. And that's good that you're constantly being tested with it, but it's sort of like the rich get richer, It's like people who are good at math are good at it because it's constantly appearing in their life.
We gamified the curriculum. It's on my board because we played a game. Just to show you, hold on. Gamified the curriculum. Okay? These were their mascots, okay? Group 3 won, clearly, okay? But these were their mascots for the groups, okay? I gamified it. And when I tell you that my principal came in,
I don't know what you're talking about. And I'll be honest, I have a hunch that some of these teachers might not be the best. She's talking about gamifying the curriculum. Like, this is a basic incentive structure. This is pretty basic. Like, if you're having teams to complete math problems and the team who does the most math problems correctly gets a prize, and then you're acting like you've just, you've created this education revolution. It's like you haven't. This has been a thing forever, so I don't know.
Okay, after we
like,
get
it's
done
useful,
the game,
but
we're doing the quiz, and I have a CC class, so I have my gen ed students just going to town. She was like, "Oh my gosh, they're powering through this."
There is something like kind of ironic as well. Like, I complain about these kids being on their iPads and that making it harder for them to focus, but these teachers are all on TikTok as well, so they probably scroll TikTok too, so their attentions might be bad, if not worse than the students in some cases, which would affect their tolerance for the behavior. Like, you're so irritable with the students' behavior because you yourself have kind of been infected by the TikTok mind virus. You expect everything to comply with your commands in the same way that you command your fucking For You page to show you content that you like. You know what I'm saying? So when a bit of disruption occurs from kids, which is obvious because they're young and, high energy and maybe they're going through puberty, whatever, it's like I feel like as a teacher should there should be some expectation that you know how to diffuse the situation. So yes, the kids are probably worse than ever. I do also think that we're hearing from teachers that might not even be that good. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to go off on a rant, guessing, because maybe she's a lovely teacher. Maybe all the teachers here are fantastic, but none of the teachers that I had growing up ever had a TikTok account, None of these teachers I would see on Instagram. And I remember one time a middle school teacher gave out his Instagram, like, at one point just to be, like, personable and humanize himself. Dude, he got fucking fired. So maybe that needs to be brought back to some extent.
This quiz, it looks like they really know it. Where's the rest of your class? I'm like, they're across the hall. Okay? They need to have test accommodations. So they're in another classroom. So she goes to that class with the students who were in here for the game. And she comes back 60 seconds later saying, "Miss D, they are a hot mess."
What?
They keep asking me, since the X repeats, is it a function? And I don't know what they're asking. So I'm going to stay over here with these kids. I need you to go across the hall with your CC teacher and answer those questions. So they can use a calculator.
I'm going to be honest, I have kind of no idea what she's saying right now. I'm going to skip ahead. Wow, this is a long one. What's the next clip? What's this?
For anything they do.
If you're not a teacher, you will never understand the rage I'm about to say.
Okay.
And maybe you'll understand why teachers are quitting. I don't need interventions, my students do. And yet, instead of hiring more interventionists or high-dosage tutors to actually help the kids who are 2, 3, 4 grade levels behind, my district decided to hire a champs coach. Their whole job to police us teachers, to make sure we're adhering to some scripted behavior system. Like,
yeah, that's
really,
not good.
You're guaranteeing compliance from teachers while there are 5th graders who cannot read a single sentence, where there are 2nd graders who don't know all their letters. Where are the priorities?
You also have to expect that parents not just are making sure their kids don't waste every single second of their life on Instagram or TikTok, but are also teaching them some things. Are parents just not teaching their children anything, like, at all? Like, they're not testing what they're learning at school? Hey son, what'd you learn today? Is that not happening? 5th grade and can't read? Oh, that's brutal. Yeah, no, it's not good at all. If you're in 5th grade and you can't read, it's actually over for you. Like, it's so over. You're done.
Where is the humanity? Any district admin sitting in their office making 6 figures should be required, no excuses, to come down to the classroom, sit with a small group, and provide interventions. Then they'd see what's really happening in our classrooms. I don't need another system to control me. Kids need adults to show up for them. Period. End of story.
When students realize that minimal effort still gets them promoted and that they can be chronically absent without any real consequence, they stop seeing the point of showing up both mentally and physically. And that is what's going on right now. That's not only bad for them, it is also bad for teachers. It is breaking their teachers. They are burned out, crashing out every day, and in the most extreme cases, they are quitting altogether. If you are a teacher or a parent, I would definitely want to know what you guys think, so I will be waiting for you in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching this video up to here.
Yeah, this is definitely concerning. And I don't know, to be honest, the solution for a lot of these things. Like, we can go back to the basic talking points and rehash what's already been said. But at the end of the day, there is something pretty dire, I think, happening here. And I think that big problems or, radical problems require radical solutions. And it looks like we're talking about kids in 5th grade who can't read. That's really bad. There might have to be some ban of TikTok. There might have to be some thing that, gets implemented to make sure that there are children who are growing up not fully disabled. Like, this is a crisis, and I'm curious to hear what you guys think about this. So leave a comment in the comment section below as to what the solution here is, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Goodbye.